You got the biggest fight. I mean, the biggest fight of the decade coming up this weekend. And Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. To me, this fight is bigger than Mayweather, Pacquiao. It's bigger than Mayweather, De La Hoya. This is the real deal, man. I'm excited for these young fighters, not only because they're putting their legacy on the line and bringing this type of excitement. I see Dub looking at me right now, but I'm excited because they're about to sell out T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. And so I guess Doug don't agree that this is bigger than Mayweather Pacquiao, but I feel like anytime you bring together two guys from opposite ends, two different backgrounds, they kind of pitted as, it's this group of people versus that group. I think it's that big, man. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on whether or not you think it's that big. But I'm predicting, before we get to that, that this fight is not going to go well for the Garcia camp. I do think the fight will be good early on. I think later in the fight it's going to get rough for him as Tank takes him into the deep waters, and that power and that speed, the combo of that are going to drown this guy. So what do you think is next for Ryan Garcia post-fight? If he wins this fight, we know it's next. There's a rematch clause that says that he has to fight Tank again. Smart business move on Tank's end. But we have to mention that rematch clause is only if Garcia wins. If he loses, he's not guaranteed a rematch with Tank. I don't think Tank would entertain the idea of a rematch. There are other guys at the lightweight division in Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. There would be great mega fights to make. But I also see the possibility that Tank moves up because I don't think Bill Haney and Devin Haney really want to go against Tank. And I don't think Shakur and Tank with no belts on the line is necessarily his next best move. So there's possibility Tank could maybe move up. Who knows? Maybe he wants to stay at lightweight. He hasn't spoken on it much. But for Ryan Garcia, if this is not ending a win, what's next for him, Dub?
I mean, you got to reevaluate his career and bounce back. I mean, honestly, I think it will actually be a good fight. I think Tank cannot take too long to process Garcia. If he takes a long time to process Garcia, he might have some problems. He might have some problems, seriously. I will say that Garcia is a tough kid. He's not a kid; he's a grown man, but he's younger than me. But he's tough, man. So these body shots that Tank like to do and stuff like that, and he's really known for his hook. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think he will go the distance. I do see Tank knocking him out by the 7th round, but it should be a good fight to say the least. I'm not saying these guys don't like each other because they do have a mutual respect for each other. I mean, for you to have 20 fights undefeated, that's commendable for both men. So there's a lot of respect there. They have to hype up the fight. So there's money to be made, checks to be cashed. So I'm not mad at them for hyping up the fight. But at the end of the day, what will happen is that Tank Davis will give him that patented hook or jab, and it's night-night for Garcia. It's like everybody else. Night-night. So that's just my take, but I don't know what Garcia does after this. I mean, he is a true boxer. Let's just stop the myths. He's a true boxer. I just don't know what's next on the docket for him if he loses today.
Yeah, I think that's a great assessment. I do think he's a good fighter, not a great fighter. I think he's a good fighter, and I do think there's respect on both ends. Post this fight, this loss, I think it'll go further than 7. I think he'll make it into the deep waters for sure. And I'm thinking it'll be some type of stoppage, because at the end of the fight, I can see an excuse being, I wanted to keep going. The ref stopped it, but much respect. Yeah, stoppage. So, I see that maybe 10th round TKO stoppage. I swollen shut or just too much blood at that point. But that knockout is very evident as well as being a possibility. So, I'm not saying the knockout can't happen. It could, and it very well might with Tank. You never know. You never know. It just depends on if Ryan Garcia is able to dodge it long enough. But post this fight, man, I don't know, man. I see him kind of getting into some big money fights with some of the YouTube stars. I see that being a real opportunity for a brother to make bread. I mean, you can't really demand a title shot if you haven't won against Tank, who also doesn't have a belt at the moment. So I don't know that he gets a Haney or Lomachenko shot. A lot of guys keep talking about Haney next, but Haney's got a tough test in Lomachenko, regardless of the age and the recent performance. That's going to be a tough test, and he's one of the best recent fighters, pound for pound, and at one point was top 10 pound for pound. So that's going to be a tough fight for Haney. So I can't say that that's next. And I would think that Ryan Garcia would avoid Shakur Stevenson. I don't think you want to take a loss to Tank and then come back and try to take on Shakur Stevenson. I think you would need something else in between that to prepare you for that. So I don't know. It's a lot of young fighters that are on the come up that I think might be a good opportunity to still make it a big fight, hype it up, and make it a comeback fight before trying to go for a belt again. But I see this fight ending one way and one way only, and we'll have to see what comes of it from there.